going to show you how to pull handles. Steve's going to show you how to extrude handles. Let's get going.
Tile company for about 8 years, and one of the things that I made were these little pin moldings, and then from creating my own moldings I started to think about how we could apply those as handles. This would be a beautiful molding that could go in a backsplash, and then he just made a handle out of it. I mean, that's gorgeous. It gives it some, I just like integrity. This is beautiful as well. It's very simple, very minimal. It works well. But I'm a fan of something that has a little more oomph, a little more detail to it, because that's an eye catcher. When I worked at the Met, you'd walk through like the Greek, Egyptian pottery, or you'd go through the pottery, the Greek pottery area, or you'd go to the Middle Eastern pottery area, and the ones that catch your eyes are always the ones that have a little bit of the detail. And the reason why is because there's a change in value. Like this little reservoir that's made here, there's a change in value, so your eye always goes to that undercut. And that just, I mean, with this to that. Well, here's a simple mug that hasn't been obviously been cleaned or trimmed yet. It was just put together as an example for class. And it's just, you know, a very simple design that I created my own little die for. It just gives it a little more for your eye to bite on. You know, like if you go to a big pottery show, or you have a tent in some sort of like fair, this might be the reason why people stop.
So while Steve's setting up the extruder there to get his handles, I want to show what a handle can look like when it is pulled. These are hand-pulled handles. So you can see that the thickness at the top and the bottom is a little bit different. And this one here actually has slight thinness here, and then we kind of made it a little bit fatter there. So I find that when I pull a handle, I can do things like that. I can make it look the way that I want to and give me a little bit of freedom, so it's not completely uniform around. Here, let me show you another example. This one here, again, a little bit fatter at the top than at the bottom, but still nice and consistent. I can make it whatever width I wanted. I can make it whatever thickness I wanted. This mug needs to be refired. You can see it has a bunch of holes in it. But this handle here was one of the earlier ones I did, and it's a little bit fatter at the top than I would like, but you can tell that it was hand pulled because it does have the thickness here that doesn't exist there. So it's, again, not completely uniform, which gives it kind of a nice unique look. So that's one of the reasons why I like to pull handles. So I'm going to show you how to pull handles. Steve's going to show you how to extrude handles. Let's get going.
This is a North Star unit, and I've had it for, what year is it now? I've had it for I've had it for over 20 years. And you know, it's getting old, but it does everything it's supposed to do.
Just like you, Steve.
Alright, there's not enough clay in it, but there you go. This is the one I use for a handle. Here's an extruder. I like to extrude it just a little bit extra so I can match it up to my pot. And then what I do is I let it sit for a little bit, because the clay is a little damp. Let it sit.
So you can clearly see why extruding is used and really popular, because it's quick and easier. So I'm going to show you how to pull a handle. What I like to do is kind of roll these, and you can roll them out, get them into kind of a carrot shape, and then I'll pull them over top of some water and just sort of get the piece wet and get your hand wet, and then you pull down. Now this is way too much clay for a single handle, but I'll go ahead and pull this down. Use gravity to kind of bring your clay down. And again, you're seeing that at this point Steve already had a handle. I have 2 inches of clay, and Steve has a handle already. But as you're going, what is neat about this, like if I want to make my my handle have a bit of a texture to it, I can kind of pull that in with my thumb. If I feel like it's too wide, I can kind of narrow it down a bit. And every time you pull down with gravity, you're making it a little bit longer, a little bit longer. But this does get the clay really wet. So again, just like Steve had to put the clay aside after extruding, we're definitely going to have to put this clay aside before attaching it to a handle. And oftentimes when I am pulling, you'll notice I'm not pulling all the way to the bottom because I like having this to kind of help with kind of pulling it down so that gravity is working for me. At the end, I'll pinch this off, and I think this is a good length here. One thing I do like about having it pulled like this is that if I have a ball of clay at the end, I can kind of use that and this ball at the end to shape the handle to whatever shape I want it to be. Ooh, that was an ugly shape. So when I... What the heck are you doing? So when I set this down on the table, I'm going to set it down kind of in the shape that I want it to be. This one here is kind of thin. That one's not good. Do it again. And there again, there's a reason why Steve likes extruding, because that one, it went too thin, so I can't really use it right now. If I was extruding, I would have 15 handles by now.
And you got to remember, Eric's a family man. He has 4 kids at home, and you know, he really loves to throw, but you know, there's only so much time in the day you can make handles.
Right, and that's why, like, all of those, well, the 3 cups you were showing were all ones that I'd done. Like, I'm not opposed to using an extruder at all. I like.
No, I think this is good for you guys to know, because you know, when you first start out, you might not have the extra $150 to buy your extruder.
Right.
In my case, my extruder was like $1,000. That was back 20 years ago. So, you know, this is a good way to get yourself going. And what Eric's showing you is absolutely perfect for somebody who's just starting out, and all they can really afford is a bucket of clay, and maybe they're lucky enough to have a wheel. Or they're hand building.
You can see the 2 handles. We've now put them on mugs. Over here we've got the pulled handle, and here we've got Steve's extruded handle. Looking good. If you'd like to win one of these mugs, vote on which one you like the best. And at the end of March, we're going to see which one you like the best. And then we'll draw from the names of people who voted and send that mug out to you.
Hey guys, be sure to vote on your favorite mug, okay? Thanks.
Hope it was fun and helpful to see 2 ways to make handles by 2 guys throwing pots.
Okay.
You're too close.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
My background was the top. I had
You back up. I'll
Oh.
zoom in. Pulled handle. Whoops. Nope. Good. What are you doing?
Here's the handle to bludgeon people.
Those are for the bad kids in class?
Eric is like the fastest learner I've ever been around. First of all, he also has a lot of natural talent. So you throw anything at him, he's going to figure it out.